All right, so we'll go ahead and close the cabinet door. And we're ready to sanitize, okay? So we have everything assembled, everything's nice and clean, everything's lubricated, we're good to go. The machine's telling us that our clean has been finished, which is great. Nice feature there. The way for that to register is this switch has to come off. The cylinder has to get to a certain temperature, the head has to come off, and the cabinet has to get to a certain temperature as well. As long as it checks off those parameters, it'll register a clean finished when we have this thing back engaged. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, turn her on. We'll get our bucket of sanitizer. Okay. Now we're just going to sanitize one side for now. Get my bucket for under the head. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Again, repetition. Handle open. Air bleed plug open. Hit our button for the faucet so we can get to our pump, and we're going to turn our pump on. Also a good idea to take a look at the cabinet, make sure there's nothing leaking. Make sure all of our clamps are tight, because we want to be able to create enough pressure to bring that mix up. If not, everything's nice and tight, it's not going to work. So here comes our sanitizer. We're going to go ahead and close our handle. Just like before, it's going to continue to fill until it gets to about here. It'll start to leak out, and we'll close the air bleed plug. Here comes our water. Close the plug. Wait for the pump to shut off. Then we can turn the beater on. Remember, we want to have a full cylinder of sanitized water so we can throw that all around, clean all the parts. Pump shut off. We can go ahead and turn the beater on. We want to let that run about 5 minutes and then drain it out. Okay, now for the sake of time and for the video, we can go ahead and drain this right out. Everything's been cleaned, everything's been sanitized. So we will shut off the beaters. We're going to open up the air bleed plug, release that pressure, open up our handle. Now we don't need the pump on right now. We're just going to get out everything that's in there. While that's draining, we can go ahead and we can take our bucket out. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to introduce our mix. So we have some vanilla mix here. We're going to run it on the right-hand side in our 5-gallon bucket. Different size buckets for different machines. Your buckets may be a little bigger. So we're going to go ahead and put our pickup cane into the back hole of our lid. We're going to slide it into place. Okay, we can put our rubber boot down. Our low mix sensor, we're going to plug into the back of the cabinet. That will let us know when we need to refill. We'll close the cabinet door. We have our mix down below. We're going to go ahead and introduce the mix to the cylinder. Now we still have sanitizer in here. This is what we call priming the machine or setting it up for the day. Very, very important that we do this correctly. We have to use the mix to push the sanitizer out. This is the most important step. If we don't get all that sanitizer out, we're going to wind up freezing up the machine, because we're going to turn it to auto and it's going to freeze that water mixed with the mix. We're going to have ice crystals and potentially lock up the machine. So take your time with this. It's very simple. We're going to take all the mix, we're going to bring it up by turning the pump on. It's going to push the sanitizer out. When we see clear mix, we're going to close the handle. We'll go through it now. So we'll turn the pump on. It's going to start bringing up that mix. So we have some water still in the lines. Don't try to rush this, take your time. Here comes some of the mix. It's getting a little cloudy. You can also kind of hear the bubbles. When it gets nice and quiet, like it is now, there's no more bubbles, we have a steady stream of mix like that, we can close the handle. Now we know we have pure mix in there. It's pushed out all the sanitizer. And we're going to see the same thing as before. It's going to continue to fill until it gets to around here. It's going to leak out. We're going to close the air bleed. We're going to wait for the pump to shut off, and then we're going to turn it to freeze. Again, take your time. Don't rush through this. Wait until it comes out of here. Don't think that we can just put it to freeze right away. We're going to do damage. Now, if I was running up the other side, I could do both sides at once. It would be the same thing. I'd have the air bleed open. I'd have the handle open. I would turn the pump on. Up, here comes our mix. So we close this. Again, it'll continue to fill until the pump shuts off. So I would be doing the same thing here. Handle open, air bleed open, turn the pump on, let it suck up the chocolate, push out the sanitizer, close the handle, close the air bleed. Wait for the pump to shut off. This pump shut off, so we know the cylinder is full with mix. We got to go ahead and put our micro rods back in. These go up in here, push up, swing into place. Okay? Now we're all ready to go. We can turn the right side on, we can get it into freeze, and we can start our day. We got to turn the cabinet on, start getting our mix cold. We'll turn it off for now. Very simple, okay, very easy. Repetition, same thing both sides, same thing to start up the machine. As long as you're ready to go, you have no leaking down here, you have your other bucket in here, there's no leaking around the head. We can go ahead and turn it to auto and day, or in this case, we'll hit the snowflake to turn it to freeze. So we'll take a second real quick, compare this to our toggle switches. Many of you may have the toggle switches on your machine. It operates the same way. Instead of turning the switch to clean for the right-hand side, we just hit the button for clean and turn the beater on, okay? Instead of hitting the pump switch on, we're gonna hit a button to turn the pump on. In terms of day and night, we'll show you what that looks like when we hit this. So if we're gonna go ahead and freeze this side down, we're gonna turn that on. Now you'll see this moon here. That moon signifies nighttime, so we go ahead and press that. And we'll see standby. This is the temperature of the cabinet. This will go down. We had the cabinet off for quite some time, that's why it's so warm. So all you're going to do when you go home is you're going to hit the button for the moon, and that'll turn it into standby. When you're ready to come in the next day, you're just going to simply hit the snowflake, and it'll go into freeze. Now it's also telling us that the mix is out, okay? Which we're pretty low. We're almost to the end of this probe. We're not quite empty yet, but we need to refill soon. So let's go ahead and shut this off. Now again, instead of turning to day with your toggle switch, we're going to hit the snowflake. When you turn it to night, we're going to hit the moon. The cabinet's going to stay on. You can control the cabinets here instead of your cabinet switch, but that stays on as long as there's mix in the machine. And then this big switch here, we really won't turn this off unless we're cleaning so that we can register that it had a finished clean. Other than that, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We hope that these videos will help you for some preventative maintenance type things, starting up the machine, any troubleshooting that you may happen to come across as you're going throughout your day, okay? Very simple, very easy to use machine. Not a lot of parts here, not a lot of pieces, okay? As long as you're taking care of your machine, you're lubricating your parts, you're rotating your blades, you're changing your red line hose. Our machines are built like tanks. They're designed to last, okay? You take care of them, they'll take care of you. This is your money maker. Every time you pull that handle, we're making money, so we need to make sure that this is nice and smooth, okay? And we have no issues as we're going about the rest of our day. So take your time, take it slow, use these as a reference. You can always contact us. If you need parts, you can contact us by phone. You can contact us for service. Anything that you need, call us directly. We'd be happy to help you out. Thank you for taking the time to watch these videos. We hope you have a great day.